Good evening, Toronto. You're listening to Lovers Rotation here on CIUT 89.5 FM, the one and only sound of your city. Welcome back and welcome home to your soulful sanctuary here in our beautiful city of Toronto. My name is Ayshie and I'm your host tonight. And as per usual, I'm joined by some real ones at the table with me. Obviously, my lovely co-host.
Good evening, everyone. It's your girl T.
And tonight we are joined by an artist that has such a dynamic sound. Is it Afrobeats? Is it R&B? Is it alternative? What is it? I think it's a blend of all things. But I'll let him introduce himself as well.
Hi everybody, I'm Noiir. Thank you guys for having me.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for popping out.
Of
We're happy to
course.
have you here at Untitled in our soulful sanctuary. And we got a lot to say and a lot to play, so we're just going to jump right into it. The first track tonight is Outlandish by Division. I think that their Amuse in Her Feelings album is like a silent classic. It's one of those ones that I feel like people don't talk about enough, but it goes like triple double platinum in my Spotify. So this is Outlandish by Division here on Lovers Rotation. Welcome back to Lovers Rotation. That was Call Me Again by the one and only Noiir, who we're joined by tonight on the Lovers Couch. So before we jump into you, who you are, and we allow you to really introduce yourself, tell us about Call Me Again.
Yeah, thank you. Call Me Again was a song that it was one night where me and my friend were just like getting ready to go outside, and before that I just was looking at like guitar loops, and I was just like running this guitar loop back, and then like I put drums over it, and then I hummed the melody, and then my friend heard me and he was just like, yo, hold on, like let's add on top of it, you know. So my friend Lou, shout out Lou Val, helped me write it. And we just kind of like went back and forth on the song, on the lyrics and stuff like that. So basically just like we tried to like evoke an emotion of like, you know, basically just like yearning someone, a longing, right? Just being like, hey, like, you know, I miss you and I want to talk to you again type thing, right? So I think we did a great job. I got my friend Elliot on it, on the guitars as well, my friend Bryce on some of the production as well. And we just crafted this beautiful song that I'm super, super proud of, honestly. So, yeah, it's a great song, to be honest.
Yeah, you should be proud of it. It's a banger.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're very familiar too with themes of longing and missing someone on the show, I have to say. So very fitting. Very fitting.
Some of us know a little bit too much about Regardless, let's just talk about you, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you're Congolese background,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I know you're from Edmonton,
Mm-hmm.
originally, now based in Toronto.
Mhm.
So tell us about this journey. How did you end up here in Toronto making music? Like let's get the whole
Give us
lore.
the spark notes,
We
all of
wanna-
it.
Yeah, you know, the spark notes. Okay, bet. So basically, I moved out here in 2016, and I started music, I want to say like 2015, but I got more serious like throughout like 2016, because like I just thought like, you know what, like a lot of my guys are recording, a lot of people are making beats, whatnot, engineering. I'm like, yeah, like why not, you know? So I went to school for like audio engineering and like film studies and whatnot, and I basically just like, you know, studied the craft as much as I could, right? I couldn't really like play any instruments, and like, to be fair, like my singing really wasn't there, but I just like kind of kept trying, right? So moving here from Edmonton, I just thought like, you know, the Toronto scene is like booming, right? Like there's a bunch of like great underground artists, and obviously like we have like the biggest artists in the world pretty much that's from here, right? So I was just like really inspired by that, but mainly by the underground scene, because there was a lot of guys that were coming up that were making great music, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I need to be tapped in, because like I make similar type of music, right? So that was mainly like the journey. So I've been here like for almost like 9 years, 10 years now, and I'm just me. I met like the greatest people ever, people that push me. I've basically just like set my tone in the scene, and I'm just continuing, honestly. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Great.
Like quite the journey, especially because I find it interesting that you also like came from like your background was to study it first, kind of like. Did you know you always wanted to be in music and like work in music since before school, or?
yeah, like 1000%. Like I feel like I grew up in the church, right? So like I was like forced into choir. I won't say like I joined it. I was literally forced into choir.
I was gonna say like literally or
like nah, like literally forced. I want to become a drummer at first, but they're like nah, you're singing, because like they heard me sing. And I was like, okay, cool. So like I just kind of like was like on and off with it, right? But as like I started writing more, right, I always knew I wanted to like express myself by singing, but I just didn't know how until like that avenue opened up of like recording. That's when I was just kind of like, okay, like I can do that, you know. And obviously like hearing like people that aren't like, you know, Whitney Houston, but still like expressing themselves, and I was like, okay, like I can definitely do that. So it's always been in my heart, you know. Yeah.
So you've brought up a few times like sort of this notion that you sort of had to work towards getting to that point where you felt super confident about your singing, but then they also kind of forced you into being into choir because that potential was hurt there. Was there sort of an underlying journey within yourself as to like gaining that confidence and being like, you know what, yeah, like no, I sound great?
Yeah, no, that's a great question actually. Yeah, like I feel like, you know, when I was younger, like obviously when I got forced into choir, it was like more so about like, hey, like we can build you up, and like being African, like they're always like, oh, like we need more people, right? But like
you guys don't come anymore.
like
everybody together, yeah, the typical,
you know, like it's just like nah, like we need to like get this kid like in church type thing, you know. But like basically like I was like on and off with it, right? Like I feel like reason why I was on and off with it because like growing up, like my friends in my neighborhood were like into like Chief Keef, they were like into like drill, trap, rap, all that, like, you know what I mean, right? And like as soon as I like kind of like shared that I wanted to sing, they're like, you know, bro, like you know,
Don't bring that here.
Yo, they're like, yo, bro, if you don't drop a 16 right now,
like sing what?
Like they're like, sing what? Like, yo, who do you think you are? So I just kind of like shut down, you know. But like you know, there'd be times where I found myself back singing again, right? And then like eventually like just kept doing it, but then again when I took it serious, like my voice wasn't really there yet, and like a lot of people were trying to discourage me, but I just kept going. And like I feel like now it's just like it's about like finding your tone, and I found my tone pretty much. You know, like I don't compare myself to the greats, even though like Michael Jackson is like one of my favorites of all time, but I can't compare myself to him because I'm me, right? So like I just found like the way I sing, the way I express myself, and like I just kept it at that.
So before we jump into the next set of music, I have a fun question for you here. So every time someone says they love Michael Jackson, I feel like you can tell the type of person someone is by like their top 3 Michael Jackson songs.
Oh,
valid.
So let's hear your top 3.
Okay.
Rapid fire. Let's go.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. No order. Okay, no order.
Okay, no order. I get that.
No
okay,
order.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Dirty Diana.
Okay.
Dirty Diana. I want to say Lady of My Life.
Okay, that's a good one.
And I'm gonna say I Can't Help It.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna say those 3.
All right. I like that.
Yes.
Do you have a top 3?
Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot.
It's a hard question.
Damn, yes.
Even in my head, I'm like, okay, how am I gonna evade this? I'm like, okay, I just have one.
Just the one?
I have never. Okay, I can say my number 1. For sure, it's Human Nature. Like
Ooh,
that.
that's
Like I've never heard a song like that in my like. I remember the first time I heard that song, I was like, "Excuse me."
Real
I love that song.
Yeah.
Like, okay, give us one favorite or is that worse?
Okay, I think favorite is hard, but I have to say, and I could be misremembering the title, but Liberian Girl.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is about when that beat comes on. Let me tell you.
Dapper's punching the air behind the camera because he's like,
yes.
That one was in my head, actually.
There we go. Like, all true fans right here. Like we've all passed the test.
Okay, that's cool. So you chose Lovers Rock by Cruza to play to start off our next set of music. Why that song? What's your connection been recently to that track?
A beautiful track. Beautiful track. B, I just love, the experimentational on it. It sounds like a reggae song, but it isn't a reggae song, right? And just like, just the feeling of longing, like I feel like recently that's just been like a theme in my life personally, just like the feeling of longing, whether it's like someone or something, right? And that song really just like really taps into that emotion, and just like it's beautiful. So
great. Well, on that note, this is Lovers Rock by Cruza here on LVRSRTN. Welcome back to LVRSRTN. We are with the amazing Noiir, and you guys just heard one of his songs, Girls, Girls, Girls. So tell us, Girls, Girls, Girls.
Tell us the story.
Tell us
who's the girl? Who are the girls?
Girl 1, Girl 2, and Girl 3.
So to be fair, no girls, but I'll say like it was one of those songs that it was at a time where like everybody was doing trap soul, and everybody wanted to sound like Party Next Door. And I got like one of my friends at the time. I was like, yo, like, what if we like do something like that's like genuine, like Neptunes, but like make it slow and like really nice and whatnot and smooth, right? So he came up with like, the production and whatnot, and like Girls, Girls, Girls was like the only thing I could think of pretty much. And I just like, at the time, I just like, sang about certain experiences. So, yeah.
Are you smiling?
I was like, that's suspicious smirk. Yeah. Okay.
That was 2018, right?
That was 2018.
So when you scroll down to Spotify, that is the first song that we see there. Does it hold any sentimental value to you?
To be honest, nah.
Oh.
To be honest, nah. It's one of those songs where I was just like, it's just like, it was like one of the beginnings, right? Like I've had songs before that, but that was like way before. But like that one specifically is just like, I'm just kind of like, yo, honestly, it was a time in my life, and like I moved on from it. That's how I see it. Yeah.
A little snapshot.
Yeah.
Kodak moment.
And boom, exactly. It's kind of like looking at a picture when you're like 4th grade, like,
you're like,
that was cute. That was cute.
Yeah.
Like,
now moving on type. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, you did just speak about like influenced by 90s artists such as like Genuine, and we can hear that in your songs, especially in your latest single, Dream of Me. I believe it samples Candy Rain. Yes. I heard that right, and I was like, okay, so have you, we'll get into Dream of Me more specifically, but to start, like, do you find that you grab influence from a lot of artists from that era? Are you 90s influence, you would say?
Yeah, 1000%. I would say like that's like my origin story when it comes to music. Obviously like Michael Jackson is first, but then like 90s and 2000s like the music I've been raised on, right? Like for example, like Usher, Lauryn Hill, B2K, Ashanti, Destiny's Child, stuff like that, right? And just sonically, like I feel like I gravitate towards more that sound, and vocally too, like I really admire what people do today, and like obviously like the 2010s and stuff like that. That's like a different conversation, a different era, great as well. But I feel like 90s to me is just like it holds a special place in my heart. So like you know, for example, with production, Pharrell is like one of my favorites ever, right? So like just like studying him and seeing like what he did with like, you know, rap and R&B inspiring me to like get behind a computer and like see like if my drums hit the same or even harder, like, you know what I mean, right? And then like vocally and lyrically, like I get inspired by people like D'Angelo. Like D'Angelo's like a huge inspiration for me. So yeah, like 90s to me is like key when it comes to inspiration, right? And I feel like I wanna like, you know, I incorporate it in a way where like I don't want it to be so evident, you know, like I just want to have like a touch of it, because like there's a lot of other influences that I have in my music. You
can definitely hear that mix, because like I said in intro, it's like it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, and I think that's what makes an artist really like versatile and dynamic. Like you can hear a lot of different influences there, so definitely something I noticed with your music.
Thank you.
For sure.
And
then so Dream of Me. How was Dream of Me born? Where did that sprout from?
Dream of Me came at a time when I was in a studio. I was renting out a studio for a couple of months with one of my brothers, honestly, and like pretty much like I just had like this loop playing, and I put some drums over it, just like minimal, like, you know, it was just like a kick and like the rims. And like I just started like singing Candy Rain. I don't know why I just started singing that, but then like I kind of twisted it, being like, you know, do you ever dream of me, right? And it honestly came like from a time when I was like, you know, longing. I was longing someone, you know, specifically just like a friend, pretty much, right? Like someone I consider a friend, and the lyrics just kind of just came. Like, you know, it just came out of me, and I just like crafted that, and it became what it became now. And like I sent it over to my friend Fitzgerald. You know, my friend Ancho had the loop for me, and yeah, like it just kind of just came from a place of honesty, I want to say. Yeah, I was just being really honest with myself. I feel like before I was just kind of making music just to like I was always talking about experiences, but I feel like I was like more talking about in the lens of like a young man, right? But now I feel like I'm talking like in the lens of like a full-grown adult that really like processes what he's feeling and what he wants to say, and like we just added some emotional intelligence into the equation. Exactly.
Do you feel like you're gonna try, like, it sounds like you kind of stepped into some more vulnerable aspect of you for making it, so do you feel like that's gonna be the direction for like your new music as well coming up, like in the future, trying to lean into that?
1000%. Like I'm working on something right now, actually. I feel like it's gonna be one of my most vulnerable projects yet. You know, I just basically just talk about like range of emotions. Like I kind of like strayed away from like just like, you know, that R&B bag where like, you know, we just talk about women. I talk about like more stuff, you know, and yeah, like I think that's the direction I want to go towards, because I just kind of want to like show people like, yo, like, you know, there's more to like, you know, just like the typical R&B thing, right? Like there's a lot more things we can talk about, right? And like there's a lot more respect we can show like people that we're singing about, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel that. I actually had that observation in my head the other day. I was listening, like I had like my R&B, like the genre just playing through my music, and I was just like, yeah, no, I think sometimes that go-to is like a song about love, but I think what I realized is R&B is like really, it's about passion, and so I feel like that passion comes out when we're talking about people that we love. But like you said, there are so many other ways that we can sort of like bend and mold it. So in terms of Dream of Me, so I know that in the past you've done a short film for your EP, your first EP, 2 years ago. For Dream of Me, do you have any sort of visual ideas, or like when you work to describe that song visually, like do you have something in the works? Do you have any thoughts? I'm be super honest right now.
As you should.
I'm not a visual person.
Really?
Honestly, I'm not.
It was not
Ever
giving
said-
that.
I was
It was giving
I'm
like,
surprised.
I see the colors and the pictures.
Yeah, especially because like looking at, because we watched a little bit of Montague, like the short film, and we're like, oh wow, like very artistic take, definitely, and you could tell a lot of thought went into it. So I'm surprised that you're like, actually not really.
Yeah, no, like it's just like I love visuals, like I love films and movies and stuff, right? But for me personally though, like I'm not like, I don't like being behind the camera per se. Like I'm so anti lip syncing. like I'm so anti lip syncing where I'm just kind of like, there's certain songs where I'm like, okay, you know what, like for example, for a project, it makes sense for me to have a visual behind it because you're telling a story, right? But if it's like a single, to me, it's just kind of like, you know what, like just like let the music speak for itself and let people interpret it the way they want to interpret it. That's how I see it. Yeah.
I like that. Just straightforward, straight like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On that note, we're going to let you guys interpret it the way you'd like to interpret it. This is Dream of Me by Noiir here on LVRSRTN. Welcome back to LVRSRTN. That was Dream Police by McGee. That was chosen by our guest tonight, Noiir. So why did you choose Dream Police?
So I love the album that he recently put out. It's called 2-Star and Dream Police, and there's a bunch of other songs on that album that I love, but specifically that one I felt like, because it's more like R&B coded. He's like an alternative artist, like I would say like alternative R&B, indie, but like he likes to like experiment a lot, and like clearly with that song, like you can hear a lot of like, you know, a little Michael Jackson coded tones and like some little Prince and whatnot, and yeah, like I just love that song. Like I just think it's so smooth, and it's so like, it's just so beautifully like crafted and curated, and I see him as someone that's like similar to like myself and like a lot of my friends that make music. Like we just love to like, you know, kind of push the boundaries and like, you know, try new things and like really just like have our own smooth voices on like our stuff. So yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned that, actually. It's like, speaking of friends, so I know you have a couple collaborations with Juice Boy, which we've actually also had on the show. Very cool dude. So how do you like to approach like collaborating like with your friends or with just artists in general? Like what's your process like?
You know, I'll talk about Juice because that's like my brother for real. Like, yeah, it's like my blood brother, honestly. With me and him specifically, like we like to approach it in a way where we're like, I like, you know, what's inspiring us right now, right? It could be a song, it could be a sound, it could be like a moment or something like that, right? And then like we'll find something that matches it and we'll build on top of it, if that makes sense, right? So it'll be like, maybe I'll start with the drums, maybe I'll find a guitar, or maybe like one of our friends will play guitar and be like, okay, like what can we build on top of this, right? And me and him really like to dissect stuff, you know, so like we'll like start at one part and then like kind of build, and then you know, after that, like I feel like me and him like look for things that like a lot of other people aren't doing. Like we're very like intentional with that, you know. Like one of our biggest like inspirations is like the Alte scene. Like when Alte was hitting this, bro, Alte literally like changed my world, because like I was like, whoa, so like you're telling me like guys from Nigeria that dress like me and that like the same things that I like are making stuff like this? Okay, like, you know what I mean, right? I'm like, really, like let me tap in and see what they're doing, right? So I feel like even like the way we like to like have like the clave, like for people that don't know, like the clave is like a certain like beat pattern that like West Africans have, like specifically like Nigeria and in Ghana. like the way we like to play the clave, like we don't like to have like a like the traditional sound. Like we like to have like a certain sound that like reminds you like of like a hip hop song or like of like an R&B song, but it still has that same bounce. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's how I approach music with him and like friends in general. Like we just start somewhere and we build, and like we just see where it goes, but we're very intentional of like where the direction is going, pretty much. Yeah.
No, and I love how I just learned a new thing, clave. Like I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
that's really interesting, because it's things like that sort of break down sounds and make them like distinct. And so you hear something, you don't know what it is, but you're like, okay, I know that's from there, or that's from there. But before we say goodbye, we always give our artists an opportunity to kind of express yourself in the last set. So we want to ask you, what has been on your mind or your heart these days? What's something that you've either been thinking about a lot, or something you've been listening to a lot, or a thought you've been having, a feeling you've been experiencing, anything? Like when I tell you, like, the other week, Remsen was here talking about Peach Perrier needs to be in the partnership. So, you know, like, the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I've been thinking about a lot of things. Yeah, I've been thinking about a lot of things. You know what? I'll say specifically this, like, don't want to be a downer, but like, I've been thinking about mortality a lot. I've been thinking about mortality a lot. I've been thinking about just like spirituality, and I've been thinking about love. Like not love in the sense where like in a romantic sense, but like in a sense of like just like you know, just the state of the world and like what people are like looking for, right? Mortality, obviously, because like, you know, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that like when people say like, oh, you have your whole life ahead of you, like a lot of people don't have that, like, you know what I mean, right? So like I feel like I value my life so much more, you know. I always have, but I feel like I just value my life so much more, and the people around me specifically, because like I always just try to be around my peoples and just show them that like, yo, like I love you, I'm here with you type thing, right? Second thing, spirituality. I just like I feel like just divine timing is such a thing. Just divine energy and like whatever you believe in, right? I feel like just I've been thinking about that a lot, because like, you know, there's so much unspoken things, and like especially in this world, like we worry about so much and like we overthink things. But then like if you believe in something, right, you always know that like you have something to fall back on, and so you don't really have to worry or stress, or like you don't really have to like, you know, think about much, right? You just have to know that like, yo, as long as I have this faith and I can just keep pushing, and like it really just pays off, because like sometimes like certain blessings come your way that you didn't even ask for it, like, you know what I'm saying, you know. And then love, I want to say love because, you know, the world needs it, everybody needs it, and no one is too cool or like no one is too good to spread it. Does that make sense? So like just be that person, you know. And the reason why I say those things, because like I have this movie that I love. It's called La Chimera. It's like this like Italian movie, and like it just talks about like all those three things, and like it really just like made me like really think about like all those three things in depth, you know. Being like, okay, mortality, like we're not here forever, right? Like there's people that like pass on to the next life, but like you still feel their presence type thing. And then you know, spirituality, like, you know, you can feel certain spiritual presences in day-to-day life, and just love, like spread love, like don't spread like, you know, don't be a dickhead, pretty much.
Like don't spread hate, spread it.
Yeah. that's pretty much all I have to say. Yeah,
that was great.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I know.
Wow, that was like an essay. Like you said your thesis, and then you broke down your points, and then you did the
Literally,
conclusion,
yeah,
bringing
that's
it
so
back
true.
to the movie. Like that
that's
was literally
hilarious.
an essay. Good for you. A+.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, on that note, where can our audience get in touch with you?
I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, Twitter, I'm not really on Twitter like that, but yeah, follow me on Twitter anyways. At itsnoiir. So yeah, it's and then NOIIR. So yeah, 2 eyes. Don't forget that. But yeah, you can find me there. Yeah, and like I'm have some stuff going on soon, so just keep tapped in. Honestly, like it will be exciting to see everybody. So yeah.
What is stuff?
And I was like, what's cooking?
Like what is stuff?
Tell us. A little exclusive. Come on.
I mean, I can't spill the beans just yet, but
Okay.
stuff is cooking.
Stuff is cooking.
Get to know.
Yeah.
Tap in and then you'll know.
Yeah, boom, exactly.
Exactly.
You have to. That's the thing. You have to tap in.
Now you got to tap in.
I can't give you everything off rip. You feel me? So
The game is the game.
yeah, bomb.
That's just how it is.
Bomb.
Thank you guys so much. First of all, thank you for joining us
Thank you.
tonight.
Yes.
This
Thank
was
you,
such a
guys.
great conversation. Like,
Yeah.
amazing. Love it.
Lovely.
Great music as well. Make sure you guys check him out on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you consume and listen to your music. Make sure you tap in. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesday evening with us once again here on CIUT 89.5 FM. If you want to get into it, if you want to get in touch with us on Instagram, it's at lovers.rotation, and our email is loversrotation@ciut.fm for anything lovers related, any song requests, guest requests, anything in between. Please don't be shy. As per usual, all of our episodes are mixed by the one and only Des Sound. Make sure you hit her up on Instagram at des.sound. Show her some love because she takes good care of us. And every episode that you are watching here on YouTube, because we are on YouTube now, our YouTube is LVRSRTN, and all of our episodes are directed and edited by the one and only Dapper. Make sure you check him out on Instagram at DapperDan6. That's the letter. No, sorry guys, it's not a letter. It's a number now. I don't know if you guys heard. The number 6, IX. So DapperDan6 on Instagram. Make sure you tap in with him. Thank you guys once again. And we're going to close out by French people. Don't hate me. I can't. The R is not sucré by Noiir.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you choose this song to say goodbye?
First off, that song features the great Juice Boy.
The great
friend of the show.
Great Juice Boy. And yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It wasn't really like something that like, yeah, it doesn't really have a story. It was just like a vibe me and him cooked up pretty much. So, and it's one of my favorite songs I've made, honestly. So yeah, that one. Yeah.
Well, on that note, make sure you guys stay connected, stay safe, and smile. Have a great night. Bye.